Back at it.
You know it.
Let's talk some numbers, man.
Oh yeah, let's talk some numbers, man.
I think numbers are conscious, man. I know you're not talking about this, but there's always layers. I think numbers are alive, conscious. I think that explains people's infatuation with angel numbers, man. I think basically it's like a conscious being that our mind and our brain is picking up on. You know, and I think, and let me say this about angel numbers. Let me say this, but before I start, with all due respect, when I first got into angel numbers, when I'd see a number, I would go Google, oh, what does this mean? Yeah. I feel like that's natural. It's common. I'll say this, though, as my journey has continued, I would almost advise against that now. Because, and only because I'm more so now a fan of when you see, like, let's say for you keep seeing the number 8, maybe 888, you know what I'm saying, 88. I feel like, this is just from my perspective, I feel like maybe in those moments when you keep seeing this recurring number or whatever, or these recurring sequences of numbers or whatever it is related to numbers, when you keep seeing that, I feel like in that moment you should stop and think consciously, all right, what's happening in my life? What are my thought patterns or you know what I'm saying, or did the situation just happen? And then I feel like next time you see it, same thing. And perhaps you'll see a pattern, and then maybe that number is perhaps leading you in a direction. Because like I said, you know, if numbers are infinite and they keep growing, and even since the beginning of this conversation, new numbers have been born and created, I feel like that they're alive and conscious. And so with them being alive and conscious, I feel like perhaps it's one of life's ways of trying to speak to you. And so I think that's why you should take note of, all right, what's happening in my life when I continuously see this number, because then you might start to see a pattern, and then it might get really freaky.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, man. You know? They definitely have a more granular or bigger component to them than just math, time, or just identification. Like, I feel like numbers take the form of our understanding, but are way more than what we understand.
Damn, that was deep. You said numbers take
the form of our understanding, but they are way more than what we can understand.
Yes. I firmly believe that numbers are, I think everything in existence, every single rock, every single bug, every single human, every planet, every single thing in existence, I think is just the manifestation and the physical representation of a numerical possibility. Because if you really think about infinity, and not even just from a linear scale of like 1 to forever, just 1 to 1.1. Yeah. There are a million points between 1 and 1.1.
Yeah,
you know,
that's crazy.
Shit gets wild, you know, wild, and so bro. Like now we're talking infinities, you know, and then I just think to myself, I look at you, you're a living being, which means that you have a whole solar system inside of you working, you know, consciously. You
as a unit.
You know, and that's in each and every single living being, animate being. Man, look. You know, and so that's why what you said about numbers it's funny, man. I feel like numbers are like even when you look around at buildings, you know, a bunch of circles, squares, shapes, you know, which is all what numerical values. You know, we live on a planet built by numbers. Literally. Yeah. It's you know, it's so funny. Humans are always looking for aliens and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around like, all right. I know some living, breathing motherfuckers right around us, man. Yeah. It's strange, man.
It is.
Numerical values.
It is, man. It is. And back to that point with, like, even when you're drawing, like I took a drawing class. When you want to draw something, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you're trying to draw something, you start with this basic shape first. You always start with this basic shape. So say that guitar right there. All right. So the basic shape I would give that is a rectangle, and an even longer rectangle at the front with maybe a triangle at the top, you know? And you start sketching around that. And even with that requires numbers and angling and understanding, not really consciously using numbers, but on a level of you moving your fingers, your brain connecting to each other trying to be as precise as possible
Yeah.
to that object, you're using numbers in a way that your brain can understand it, but not necessarily physically as a number. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, yeah, that was well put. Yeah, that subconscious, and that's to me what makes numbers like super conscious, is the fact that, like you said, like our brain may not consciously
Like add it up, but subconsciously
metabolize into like, oh, I'm but yeah, like symmetry and everything.
symmetry. That's, I think creation is numbers.
What do you mean?
Creation, like same way that we are drawing that guitar, and subconsciously we're angling and trying to make it as precise as possible. Maybe a new number was added from the creation of you doing that. Maybe not, but yeah, but yeah, no, like just we use numbers to create. I think that's a good way to put it. We use numbers to create.
Yeah, man. They it's the language of God. It's funny, you got all these different religions, you got all these different belief systems, and at the end of the day, there's one subjective truth out here, and it's that no matter what, numerical values are a thing, and it's what we use. It's our lifeline. Even if you want to talk on a deeper level of vibrations, people talk about vibrating at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? Vibrating high, vibrating low. Now we're talking numbers. We're talking, when we're talking music, it's you just can't escape it. I don't. It's so it's a beautiful thing, and that's why I feel like angel numbers are a real thing. When our conscious mind picks up on why do I keep seeing this sequence or something? It to me it has to be some form of communication. Between the brain, the mind. The mind is already in this infinite pool. You know what I'm saying? This the mind is untouchable. It's
connected to an even bigger pool. And
yeah.
I believe that's where we get the angel numbers from.
It's strange, man. Strange.
Yeah, that is strange, man.
Yeah.
It feels good though. I almost let you know that if that's gonna happen, like numbers, like God is always with you. Let's take it there. God's always with you, and the fact that angel numbers are appearing, or it's just letting you know that, hey, take this sign and do what with it as you will, as I've told you, or as I've told you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Goes back to that Aquarius thing.
Even if you look at it like astrology, it's so funny because we look at astrology as this. We all know it's basically a wheel, a circle, and
cycle.
Yeah, like and in a year, we ask like, oh, where's our birthday? Like, well, what's your birthday? But I had this dream one day that I feel like MLK. I had a dream once that it was like a number planet, and like instead of people saying what's your birthday, they just basically said like what's your degree on the circle. Because that's essentially what we're dealing with. Exactly zodiac signs, all that stuff. It's basically where are you on this shape. I don't know. It's
that's interesting. That's a very interesting. Wow. Because that's really all it is. It's just what degree we are in the position of the sun.
Yeah. It's like, and that's why it's funny. Like, kind of back to what we were saying at the beginning of this portion. It's like, it's almost like everything that's happening is just a numerical possibility. Seriously, like because I just have this like way of thought of like, in order for a concept to be true, it has to be, or not even to be true, but for it to be real, it has to be played out. And so when I just think about the fact that like there are, like, all jokes aside, an infinite amount of numbers, like how does that has to be materialize some way, and I think that's what I think that's what life is.
Wow.
Yes, I think that's what life. You know what I'm saying? Because what you can't go anywhere without it.
You can't go anywhere without it.
But why though? It's because it's almost like it's like our lifeline. It's like you may be the number 13,000.84.987. I may be the number 2.843. But this right here, this conversation could represent another number, an irrational. Man.
Like literally everything that you're saying, from material to the conceptual, like all of that deals with a number. Yeah. A certain number is added to that value of what it is. And therefore it's infinite. Therefore there is infinite. I can't even. My head.
Yeah. And then think about this. You can draw a square, a perfect square or circle, but let's just say a perfect square on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Inside of that, you can draw an infinite amount of squares. It represents. It's crazy how even in a finite amount of space, there's an infinite amount of possibility.
Yeah, you really can. No, that's wild. That's wild. Like you just get real microscopic with it. Like it goes smaller and smaller. Unfortunately, our technology may not go that far, but it's possible.
Yeah, but it's possible.
It's very possible.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. That's literally what life is. Almost like a square. But you know, like and even to the point of like having having this finite amount of space, but this infinite amount of possibility. It's kind of like with us. You know, we have physical bodies which are finite. They have an expiration date. They can't last forever. Yet we have this mind which you can't. It's not tangible. You can't touch it, so it's infinite. And so now here we are. This juxtaposition of infinite and finite, just like number. Yeah, man. Yeah.
And you know, it goes back to that fractals thing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to that fractals. Fractals.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Like I know people have had the thought, like even like within us and outside of us in space, it all kind of looks similar, or it's the same. Like even with like, say for example, the cells in our body, and you know the nucleus can represent the sun of our planet. Like it can be fractal to that level.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it all kind of falls in place to being the same, even on a grander level with finite space, like you said.
Yes, and that's why, to go back to the whole astrology thing, the whole Mayans, my whole belief about this, and that's why I really can get behind astrological periods, because a day is a fractal pattern of a year, which is a fractal pattern of an astrological age.
Yeah,
you know,
it is,
and it's funny because a moon cycle is the same. It's
all a cycle, man. It all is infinite. That's one thing. A circle represents infinity, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is going back into each other, almost like a rapid, never-ending cycle.
Yeah. Cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never-ending. Infinite.
Yeah.
Always going.
Think about how many degrees are in a circle. 360. Think about how many
360.
degrees are in a square. 360.
That's true. Everything that's complete is 360, huh?
Well, triangles are 180, but it's all divisible by 9, and then we can get into the whole 369.
That's true.
Yeah, I love numbers. Oh,
good God. Nah, that's wow.
Yeah, man.
Numbers.
Yo,
that was good.
Hey, this is good, man. That was a good one. Wow,
man, for sure. Oh yeah, right on time too. Yes, sir.